I'm going to work on doing another tumbler. What I'm going to do is do a zodiac tumbler. We're going to be working with the 20-ounce skinny tumblers today. So, 20-ounce skinny tumbler, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be working with the roller attachment instead of the chuck attachment on the X2S1 laser engraver. All right. So we are going to be doing, so I did the Aquarius one already, and what I want to do is double check the settings of the Aquarius one. 25 180 on engrave. And what I can actually do is still utilize this template and just make sure this one is not set to output. We're going to bring in another, we're going to do Sagittarius. And we're going to do 106.84 just like the other one. The size. We're going to do 106.84 just like the other one. The size. There we go. It matches. Make sure that this one is not have an output. All right, so what we're going to do also is work, like I said, we're going to work with the roller attachment, which I haven't worked with the roller attachment yet. This is going to be the first time I've actually worked with the chuck attachment more so. So let's see if I can get this and show you what I'm talking about. So the roller attachments allow you just to lay the tumbler on and they'll roll with it instead of it being a chuck. This is great if you're using like tumblers without a taper or without a skinnier bottom top handle, for instance. And as I said before, we're using the skinny tumbler, so therefore it's the same all the way around. So I can use it on the roller attachment instead of the chuck. So let's see if I can get you a good view of this. so much, but you'll be able to see a little bit better when I actually start. Not so much, but you'll be able to see a little bit better when I the burn, if you will. The burn, if you will. Okay, as usual, we have to make sure the surface is clean. We got to do the measurements to make sure we know the size of the area we're going to be engraving. So total engravable space is going to be, we're looking at about 195 millimeters, and it's 195. I should actually write this down somewhere because this is one of my inventory stocks. So 195 by 200 and just call it 38. 195, 238. I am going to write it down. All right. Get the alcohol. Clean the surface that's going to be engraved. And we'll be able to put it on the laser engraver. What I'm trying to do is actually set up the, here we go, get you some more light so you can see it better. There you go. And I'll turn that down when it's actually doing the burn so it doesn't blind the camera. All right. when you put it on, you need to remember the orientation of the opening, so the top of the actual tumbler, because that's going to matter how you orient the actual design on your work surface. And what I want to do now is make sure we have a work surface. So when you're creating the work surface on a round object, you have to visualize the canvas, if you will, as flat, even though it's going to go around circular. And remember, I actually oriented the tumbler to the right, the opening to the right. So that means the opening is going to be here. So this is going to be the top. And I did actually write it down this time. It's 195 from of surface of to be engraved. So what I want to do is create a rectangle. So I'm gonna hit R on the keyboard. I'm gonna create a rectangle, and in this orientation is actually going to be the width. So the width is going to be 195, and the full circumference, if you will, or perimeter, how they call it in the program here, is 238. So I'll then create this to be 238. So this, in essence, is, if I was to flatten out the tumbler, this is what the surface would look like. Now, there's a couple of things you have to do in the program. I'm not working on the base plate, so I am going to be working on the rotary, the rollers. So I have to pick that. And also there's a couple of things I have to do, and I want to make, nope, sorry. So take this rectangle that reminded me not to have it to output, because we don't want it to output. We're going to engrave these. So that is set on engrave. It's set on 25 180, which is 25 power 180. Now, what I have to do is I have to get the distance from the laser to the surface. So we're going to work on that right now. And what you have to do is move the laser to your work surface, centered on the highest part of your work surface. So say right there. And then once you have it set, you're going to want to, let's do it this way. All right, so if you watch the bed, when I hit the measure, it's going to go down and measure the distance. And also what you want to do is to make sure that you have the right material chosen. And I have the tumbler right here. Even though the picture is tapered, it's actually the material. I'm doing a black tumbler, so I have the black. And what I want you to notice too is that it automatically chooses some settings for you. Now, you, based on, you know, previous projects, I know that I have a certain setting for this one, or for the actual items. I have a material test that I did on a black tumbler earlier. Oh, not that one. So basically any setting is going to give us the results to take off the powder coating, right? But what you want to look at also is the quality of the burn, whether or not it gets too hot or not. So what I'll do is I'll choose something where it shows the burn, where it's a clear burn. 100 power by 100 speed is going to create a darker burn on the metal, and I don't want that. I kind of want a clear look. So if I do like a 59, or say 60 by 265, 267, that's going to give me a nice clear look. No harsh lines within the burn either. So I think I'm going to do that when I'm going to go, say, 60 by 265. So I think I'm going to do that when I'm going to go, say, 60 by 265. So if I go here to power 60, 265, and again, different colors, or I say again, but different colors, different um, makers, different materials. You'll have to do a material test usually on just about every material that you use. And I'm going to do lines per centimeter 120. That gives us less lines within the actual burn. All right, so this green line represents the center of the material on the roller. So what I need to do, again, the orientation is over here to the right is where the top is. So I'm going to orient my picture to the right. That's going to be the top. I want it centered on the actual mug. Actually, I want it a little bit high on the mug. It's a tall mug, so being centered when you're holding it or when it's in a holder, cup holder, something like that, you might lose some of the visual. But ideally, what you will want to do is just make it where either the client wants it or you want it to be best. Now, I'm making this, but then again, if someone orders it and they want their name on it somewhere, I want to give room at the bottom of the mug to have their name on it as well. So I'm going to move this a little bit to the top. Now, there is a ring of silver at the top that I didn't count for. This rectangle represents the actual black material that I am going to be engraving on. So there's about a 10 millimeter ish silver band above this anyway. So this is still going to sit a little bit lower. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down just a little bit on the mug. Still going to be kind of close to the top. Give some room at the bottom if someone later wants to add a name. As you can see, again, with it being round, you don't necessarily have to get this centered on, or the green line centered on your work surface, because it's round. It connects, and it's going to be centered regardless on which way you turn the mug, or it's going to be on the work surface. So what we have here is the setup. What you would ideally want to do is make sure that you preview it to kind of see what it would look like on the work surface. So this is what it will look like. Now, this is not a true depiction of the size of the actual item, but it will show you what it looks like on the rounded surface. The item actually, as you can see in the camera, it takes up the whole roller, basically. Now, another thing you can do to show where this is actually going to sit on your product is you can go to framing. So when you frame it, and if you watch in the window, the laser is now going to kind of outline where it's going to go. And this is exactly why you frame it, because look at what just happened. To me, it looked like it was going to go off of the mug. So I'm going to do that again. Okay, there we go. Nope. Don't like that, so I need to make sure that I do not do the burn yet. Let me check something else here. All right, so I'm glad I checked that, because now what I want to show you is I put the laser at the very top of the where I wanted the burn to start, or the engrave to start. So what I need to do is move the surface to where that is. So this is the very top of the powder coating of the surface. Now I'll move this down a little bit under that. So that'll start at the very top. I want it down a little bit. Let's frame that again. There we go. That's more like it. And that's why we check. I'm going to just kind of preview it one more time. What I can do here is actually put in, this is where it asks you, so it showed diameter or perimeter. I actually did a perimeter on it, and the perimeter was 238. There we go. All right, we're going to go with it. Get this ready.
Whoa. What's that?
I just put some button app in base 44. Guys, you're just blitzing out. Impossible.
All right, let's see what we got. All right. Although it was not rotating towards you all while it was working, as you can see. And I'll take it over to the table to show you all as well. All right, there you have it. One more burn. Zodiac tumbler. What we'll do is we'll clean it off. Let it dry a little bit more and pack it up. Alrighty, we'll finish out the project and close it up for now. Till next time in the next order. Thanks for watching.